Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I as always am Grestar and this is another reaction to a death battle, Boba Fett versus Predator. As always, the link to the original is in the description below. Before I begin, I want to congratulate myself for following through with my promise. At the beginning of this year, as in 2022, because I realize now it's 2023, so this year's inaccurate, but at the beginning of 2022, or before that technically, I promised that I would put out a death battle reaction every weekend of 2022, barring complications. And I did. On the times where I didn't put it out on the weekend, I put it out at some other point of that week, and even if I had not, there were times where I uploaded more than one, which just means 2 death battle reactions that week. So I did it, okay? I did it. And I'm pleased with myself. I mean, in that regard, I'm like completely depressed in other areas. But I did that thing. So we have Boba Fett from Star Wars and Predator from, apparently it's just Predator. Which, yeah, that makes sense. And I think the reason that they're fighting each other here is because they're both bounty hunters of a sort. I'm not entirely sure Predator's deal. I know, like, in the movie, it seems like it's just, oh, it's some scary monster kind of thing, right? It's invisible and it's killing us off one by one. But then, like, it goes further into lore and there's like this whole clan thing and like, wasn't that Predator exiled or something? I don't know. I've never seen any of those movies, so who's to say? But I thought it was some sort of thing like that. I mean, even if Predator's not a bounty hunter, I know he's like a hunter, and they had this rule, I thought, where it's like you don't hunt someone defenseless, you know? And so that was a thing where it's like you don't hunt children unless they turn out to be like bamfs, and then it's like, yeah, you know what, they're not defenseless, so you can hunt that child or something like that, right? Right? But here's my thinking so far. So I know Boba Fett better than I know Predator, and I still don't know Boba Fett that well. But from what I know of Predator, he mostly is just like, he fights mundane things. Like, yeah, he was really scary in the movie, but like, it's just against soldiers, you know? And then you do have like Predator versus Alien, where Predator is then fighting against, you know, the Xenomorph Alien. Or the Alien Xenomorph, you know what I'm trying to say. The Xenomorph from Alien and Aliens and Alien versus Predator. And yeah, that's more fierce, but I don't know to what extent. The thing is, I don't think that the Xenomorphs are like superpowered. They're just another creature, you know? They're just another beast. And it's like, you know, acidic blood, and I'm sure they're pretty heckin' strong and like agile and like climb up walls and ceilings and stuff because they go through vents and whatnot. But it's not anything super duper incredible in the scope of like death battle. Whereas Boba Fett goes up against all sorts of things. You know, there are the alien species that just exist, like the alien creatures, I should say, throughout, you know, the entire Star Wars galaxy. And then you have other mercenaries, you know, Mandalorians or otherwise. And then you have the Jedi or the Sith. Like, he has gone up against so much more, to my knowledge. And they have a wider variety, you know? Where it's like, when I'm thinking that the strongest thing the Predator has gone up against might be Xenomorph, like, I'm pretty sure that Boba Fett has gone up against Xenomorph-like things, like, many a time. I mean, what about, like, you know, Rancors? I don't know if he's fought a Rancor personally. I know he escaped the Sarlacc pit, I don't know how. But then, you know, just like he's killed Jedi because he's taken their lightsabers and used them despite Force, or non-Force users not being supposed to. Like, you shouldn't use a lightsaber because a lot of it's guided by the Force. I mean, I'm sure you could use it. It's just like weightless is the thing. So, or the weight's all on the hill. Anyway, my point is that I think that Boba Fett has done more and he just seems more capable. And that's without knowing like the true extent of what the comics explored or just, you know, other stories not involved in like the main movies. And I'm sure that Predator has a bunch too that, you know, like has been in comics, etc., that I know nothing about. Like, so just even if it's not limited to the movies, I'm sure there's a ton that I don't know about Predator, but I think that it's going to have to be like a very big step up if it's going to counter what I imagine Boba Fett has gone up against. I don't know for sure, but yeah, but it's like, you know, cloaking technology, I don't think that that's really going to benefit either party because surely they have counters. I know Boba Fett does, so I mean, hopefully Predator does too, otherwise that's just another advantage for Boba Fett. But anyway, I've spoken enough. Let's get to watching. So here we go for the death battle. Boba Fett versus Predator. Take it away.
Boba Fett, the greatest bounty hunter from a galaxy far, far away.
Right.
And the Predator, the monstrous manslayer from beyond the stars.
Beyond the
There's nothing quite
stars,
like
you
the
say?
thrill of the hunt, especially when you're chasing that most dangerous game.
Not humans, we're talking face-hugging aliens and space wizards. He's wizards.
Okay, space wizards are
And it's our job
humans,
to
to be
analyze their
fair.
weapons,
Okay,
armor,
well,
and skills to find out
some
who
of
would
them are
win
humans.
A death battle.
I just meant to say that, like, it's not a Jedi is not
Throughout the
a
galaxy,
race.
few names are as feared as
So I
Boba
guess Sith
Fett.
were.
When you've got the greatest army of all time cloned after your dad, that's no big surprise.
In an incredibly convoluted bid to wrest control of the Galactic Republic,
Right?
the Sith Lords Darth Sidious and Tyrannus secretly organized the construction of a clone army based on the genetic code of the galaxy's greatest bounty hunter at the time, Jango Fett.
Whoa.
On one condition, Jango Unchained got to keep one unaltered clone as his son, Boba, who became a cute little murderer just like his pop.
I didn't know that he was a
that
clone.
is until Jango, let it get to his head.
Aww.
Just as headstrong as his father, Boba swore vengeance on the Jedi and devoted his life to becoming as deadly an assassin as his forebears.
Good on you.
'Cause the Fetts aren't just random badasses, they're Mandalorians. Basically a society completely dedicated to the art of war.
Yep.
Most of the time.
Indeed. In the galaxy's past, Mandalorians
I did not
have
see what that
waged
was,
war
maybe
against
for the best.
Jedi and easily held their own, despite lacking use of the Force.
And what's a self-respecting Mandalorian without his Mandalorian armor?
Yeah,
Inherited
it
from
is
his
cool
dad,
looking.
Fett's armor is made out of Beskar.
Also known as Mandalorian iron, Beskar is one of the strongest materials in the galaxy, tough enough to resist thermal detonator blasts and lightsaber strikes. Even
That's
bolts
cool.
of lightning that can vaporize people aren't enough to harm the armor itself.
Fett's
Wow.
helmet has a targeting system, lets him see in infrared, and even has 360-degree vision.
And his wrist-mounted
Impressive.
Vam braces, designed to counteract a Force user's powers, come with a variety of indispensable tools, like a flamethrower, fiber cord whip, mini concussion rocket, laser beam, and forearm blades.
Okay,
But
cool.
when Fett wants to take his opponent by surprise, he breaks out the kneecap rockets. Not since the butt machine guns has Death Battle seen a weapon so devious.
I
As
forgot
a
about
living
that.
Swiss Army gun, Fett prefers long-range combat.
So it helps to have a jetpack for quick getaways.
For sure.
Especially one with a rocket that can nuke small spacecrafts. He also has his trusty EE-3 carbine rifle and blaster pistol, which is powerful enough to vaporize a dude in one shot.
Oh.
But should an opponent get
Dang.
too close for comfort, or should his jetpack inevitably malfunction, Fett can reacquaint his victims with their maker with his Gatterfee stick, handcrafted by Fett himself as part of a Tusken rite of passage.
Oh.
Kind of like how Jedi make their lightsabers.
That's
And in
neat.
your classic flash bombs, sonic bombs, gas bombs, motion sensor bombs, and the uber powerful thermal detonators, and Fetty's basically a one-man army.
Thermal detonators can annihilate small buildings and even this giant stone bridge. Based on its size and the number of bombs used, each one should be packing around 3.5 tons of TNT.
But
Okay.
his weapons aren't all that make Fett so deadly. He's a master marksman, hand-to-hand fighter, and tactician. He'd need to be to take on the Jedi and steal their sweet, sweet laser swords for himself.
He outsmarted the Jedi Master Mace Windu as just a child, and
Oh.
we know he's fought multiple Jedi after the Purge. In the old Legends timeline, he even fought Darth Vader twice. The
Wow.
same Vader who can dogfight at near light speed.
That's why he's decked out with all those tools to distract and confuse Jedi and their space magic long enough to get a clean kill.
Hello, dummy.
And while he has a professional code of honor, when it comes to combat, Fett will use any underhanded tactics he can think of, perfect for fighting honorable Jedi. As
Right.
my personal hero once said, silly Jedi. If only he was here right now to kill all these stupid
HK?
meatbags.
That's probably not good.
Boba can
I
crumple
like
steel
HK.
doors with ease, outrace explosions with his jetpack, and was shot through the chest and just walked it off. He was, and I quote, very angry about it. Not even the Sarlacc, the giant monster space vagina itself, was able to hold him, no matter the continuity.
Even into middle age, Boba remained a force to be reckoned with. In the older timeline, he led the Mandalorians to victory in the Yuuzhan Vong War, and even trained the Jedi Jaina Solo to defeat her brother, who just so happened to be a Dark Lord of the Sith.
Well then.
I guess even Boba was able to overcome his anti-Jedi prejudices.
And then Disney axed all that.
No.
But who gives a shit when you're sitting pretty on Jabba's throne like an absolute pimp? Or like a panther?
He even managed to defeat Cad Bane in a duel, possibly the greatest bounty hunter the galaxy had ever seen up until that point.
Second greatest now is, and look at that dodge, channeling some of that Han shot first energy I see.
So if you ever find yourself in Fett's crosshairs, don't bother running. You'll only die tired.
Alright, so there was Boba Fett.
The year was 1987.
Okay.
In the balmy jungles of Central America, an elite American Spec Ops unit would come into conflict with Soviet-backed insurgents. Their mission was a success, but little did they know, they were the ones being hunted.
Rip.
It was almost as if the jungle itself was killing him. But in reality, it was a traveler from beyond the stars, a superhuman killing machine whose entire life was devoted to murder.
This was a predator.
Hello.
These men were its prey.
And this
Aw,
alien
poor
hunter
those
had more
men.
than enough gnarly gadgets to take Arnie and his crew down, like the plasma caster, a shoulder-mounted laser cannon.
It has a tracking system connected to the Predator's biohelmet, which allows him to see in X-ray, UV, and night vision. This
Neat.
is on top of the Predator's own unique way of seeing, through natural infrared sight. Essentially, he tracks individuals by recognizing differences in heat signatures.
Okay.
Too bad humans can't do the same, since the Predator's full-body light-bending camouflage makes him invisible to the naked human eye, letting him blend into the shadows and pick off his prey one by one.
But as ruthless as that sounds, the Predator is actually an honorable fighter, who relishes the chance to fight up close and personal with his iconic wrist blades.
And guess what? For as bad as this one Predator was, this dude wasn't even that special. In
Right.
fact, he was actually kind of a noob. There's a whole planet of these guys.
These are the Yautja. Yautja? Yaucha?
I don't know.
Yaucha? They never actually say it in the movies.
Oh,
Yautja
okay.
society is
Fair
based
enough.
around one thing, hunting. The bigger and deadlier the game, the more honor slaying it brings.
Which is why the Predators take on muscly 80s action heroes for breakfast.
Of
Just
course.
one failed hunt forever dooms a Yautja to humiliation or death.
Aw.
And since Yautja lifespans can last hundreds of years, that would mean that elder hunters have centuries of combat experience and have never been defeated. They have literally kept winning for hundreds of years.
That is interesting.
And this is the kind of Predator we're looking at today.
Okay.
The only way to become
So we're
a
not looking at
fully
the movie one.
independent hunter, a blooded hunter, is to slay their equally dangerous rivals, the Xenomorph. With bulletproof skin, acid blood, and retractable penis mouth, these aliens are dangerous enough to take down even the best Yautja hunters.
Which is why they carry a greatly diversified arsenal compared to the original Jungle Hunter.
All right.
These more exotic weapons are earned over the course of numerous successful hunts and are proof of a Yautja's mastery and experience. Like the retractable combi sticks, net guns, and controllable smart discs that vibrate at supersonic speeds.
Allowing
Oh.
them to kill their ultimate equally dangerous rival, Gary Busey.
They even carry a portable EMP that will disrupt all electronic devices in the vicinity,
Oh,
forcing
interesting,
their
okay.
prey to fight them on their terms.
Which is when they break out their plasma scythe, made of messed up evil laser energy.
This dark plasma the scythe emits cannot be stopped by conventional matter. Instead of merely cutting a target, its energy passes through their body, ensuring their victim will die in as little as 4 hits.
Even without his arsenal, the Predator is a literal beast. He's strong enough to tear through 2 inches of steel like it was tissue paper, casually invent the first Mortal Kombat fatality, and give Mother Nature the finger. Lions, tigers, and bears? Oh shit!
It helps that Yautja armor is plasma forged, making it incredibly durable.
The Predator is tough enough to tank huge gas explosions and fast enough to dodge laser beams.
But even if a Predator is defeated, he is expected to perform one final rite, activating a countdown to a nuclear explosion that vaporizes everything within 300 city blocks. Based on the size of that blast, this would be exploding with 15 times the energy as the atomic bomb dropped on Hiroshima.
So when a Pred wants
so it
you
survived
dead,
that?
there's no escape. Not even an army of xenomorphs and their queen are enough to take the toughest predators down. When even Arnold fucking Schwarzenegger shits his pants in your very presence, you know you're as badass as they come. A goddamn sexual Tyrannosaurus.
Right. Huh, okay.
All right, the combatants are set. We've run the data.
This
through
one's
all
difficult,
possibilities.
actually, yeah.
It's
It's time for a death battle! And pause. I don't know who's going to win right now. Because, like, you know, as I'm watching these, of course, always trying to pick up different things, like, you know, comparative speed, strength, durability. that sort of deal. And they both seem to have some really good things going for them, but they also seem to be, like, different. You know? Where it's like, let's look at the, you know, Boba Fett's thermal detonator. It was like, okay, 3.9 or whatever tons of TNT in each one. But then you have whatever the... I didn't hear the full thing, admittedly. I was thinking about stuff at the time. I got distracted with my brain. But Predator, there was that explosion that I assume he either set off or survived, so I don't know if he has that in his arsenal or if it's just saying that he's able to withstand that, but it was like 160-something kilotons of TNT, which is a lot more than 3.9 tons of TNT, you know? So that's very different. And like, obviously that's much bigger in favor of Predator. There are other things that I like that seem to go in Boba Fett's favor, where it's like, yes, Predator is going to be able to know where he is because he has all these different kinds of vision, you know, like heat vision, X-ray vision, etc. Boba Fett also has thermal vision, and from what I could gather, that should be enough to counter Predator's camouflage because it just bent the light, so, you know, naked eye, you couldn't see it. So I think that was just visible light. I don't think it has anything to do with, like, you know, thermal vision or infrared, you know? So I don't think that Predator's camouflage is going to do him any good. I don't think that his plasma axe, as cool as it was, is really going to do him any good, because it mentioned, like, you know, it attacks the body differently. It would kill someone in as little as 4 hits just because of the way that it, like, passed through the body instead, and I guess it wrecked them from the inside. But I don't think that it's going to reach that point because it's a plasma weapon, and the Mandalorian armor, I forget what it's called, but like the Mandalorian iron, basically. But the armor Boba Fett's going to be wearing, it's capable of taking lightsaber hits, which lightsabers, you know, it's plasma. And so it's the same kind of thing. I don't think it's going to penetrate Boba Fett's armor, so I don't think it's going to affect his body. So I don't think that we're going to have to be worrying about that. I think that in general, Boba Fett has... I think that he has more versatility in general with his weapons. Because, like, the Predator did have a different assortment of weapons, but they all seemed... I mean, a lot of them seemed virtually the same, where it's just like, this is another kind of blade. Like, it's a blade in a different shape. And you might say the same thing of Boba Fett with, like, different guns, but at least they have different firepower in that regard. You know, because there was the flamethrower, there was his normal kind of pistol-y thing that could vaporize someone, which I don't know how we're gonna deal with that. Oh, hey, okay, I just thought of something that might change some things. I don't know exactly how this works is the issue. So now I'm, like, kind of more stuck. Because I was leaning toward Predator just because I wasn't sure about that huge, like, 160 kiloton explosion thing. But now I wonder with Boba Fett, because thinking about his stuff, his armor was able to survive the electricity that vaporized humans. And I don't know if, like, because, you know, just surviving vaporization, would that be enough to tank that kind of explosion were it to come down to that? And then on the flip side, like, if Predator had been the one that tanked that explosion, because again, I didn't hear that part. I heard the explosion. I heard it was like 169 kilotons of TNT or whatever. I didn't hear if he dished it out or if he took it. And so, like, would the vaporization of, like, Boba Fett's blaster be enough? Like, be more than that? Or not? I genuinely don't know. So, what else do we have? We have Boba Fett with increased mobility due to his jetpack. We have Predator with more experience, given, like, hundreds of years of combat experience. But you could say, to at least soft counter that, Boba Fett was outsmarting Mace Windu when he was still a child, and has since, you know, he's grown from there. He's become even better a tactician. He's also defeated the other big, like, the #1 bounty hunter at the time. I don't remember his name. And then they both have sort of, like, light speedish things, I think, though, in favor of Boba Fett, because Predator was able to dodge a laser beam, which doesn't mean that he was moving at the speed of light, but, you know, like, getting close to it, right? Because lasers moving at the speed of light, he dodged it, which meant he moved fast enough. I think what it always comes down to with those is it's not saying that he is also as fast as light, but it's just like, okay, how far did the laser beam travel, and how far did the person travel in the same amount of time, like, in order to dodge the beam? Like, I think that's what determines. So it's approaching light speed, but it's not necessarily light speed, and like they could be. But then you had Boba Fett, who fought Darth Vader, who was dogfighting at nearly light speeds, and I feel like that's more impressive because that requires not only like the movement, but also just the ability to comprehend what's going on at those kinds of speeds, which is ridiculous. Another thing though that we didn't really talk about was, or like it didn't talk about, was him fighting Darth Vader and what that means beyond the light speed dogfighting. Because Darth Vader was, one of the most powerful Force users as far as I'm aware, And so I would think that'd be a pretty heckin' big deal to be able to go up against that. Really? Just like... So while I said I was leaning, at the beginning I had been leaning toward Predator, it was just for that explosion feat! That's the only thing that's holding me back right now. Because I don't think that anything else really gives him the advantage. There are things that make it so like Boba Fett doesn't have the advantage in that area where it's just kind of evened out, but the only way that I thought Predator had the advantage was that explosion, and I don't even know all the details of it because I wasn't properly listening. I was thinking about stuff. I was thinking about Death Battle stuff. but I just wasn't in the moment taking in that information, which turns out to be pretty crucial for me. So, ultimately, I just want to say that I think that, Boba Fett's tactical brilliance outweighs, or I didn't even mean to say outweighs when I started that. Maybe it does, though. But I want to say cancels out. We'll say cancels out the years of combat experience that Predator has over him. I think that he does have the speed advantage over Predator, because I think that comprehension matters more as far as like dogfighting, because that involves strategic thinking, tactical awareness, more than just beam coming at me, dive to side, right? And so I think that there's more with the Boba Fett, Darth Vader dogfighting's feat. I don't think the Plasmax will come into play because of the Mandalorian armor. I don't know if the thermal detonator will matter, given what Predator has gone up against. But I do wonder about his blaster with the vaporization. I think that Boba Fett has the advantage in terms of versatility and mobility with his jetpack. And he's just generally moved quickly. I don't have numbers or like real feats off the top of my head, but yeah. While he favors long range, and Predator doesn't seem to. He has like a net gun. That's like all that comes, and like I guess he has like the sonic disc he can throw, but I don't think that either of those are going to like, clinch a victory for him. And as far as like what those are capable of doing, I feel like Boba Fett has similar stuff with like he has the wire that he shoots out. But flamethrower, the rockets in different places, like on the back, like with his jetpack, or the knees, or like wrist rockets or whatever. He has more versatility in that regard. And the armor itself can at least survive vaporization, or what would otherwise vaporize a human. So I'm going to say that Boba Fett is going to win. If he does not win, then I think it will be because of that explosion feat that I didn't quite catch. But all in all, while Predator does have some impressive things, I think that Boba Fett overall was more impressive, had more going for him, just had more in general. So Boba Fett is going to win this one and play. Hey there. It's the same model they used for the remake of Boba vs. Samus. Looks like to me. Oh, and I didn't talk, like, just, he also has, like, wrist blades. He also has his, like, Tusken Raider staff thing. I realized I'd only really mentioned his long range stuff. You're mine. Nice. That was a cool shot. Kind of. Alright, well, no vaporization from that. Oh, another thing I did think about, didn't really talk about, EMP. Predator does have that. But not everything Boba Fett has is reliant on, that. Yay, it's cool to see the blades against each other. Ooh. That blade just looks cool. Boba Fett, no! I feel like that's coming back. I don't know. Oh, look at that. It came back. Oh, no! Boba! Yeah, that looked nasty. Yeah, neither of them are dead yet. There's his plasma thing, I assume. Ooh, brutal. Gotta cauterize it though.
You are one ugly motherfucker.
You okay? Uh-oh. Oh, thermal. Right, because that's his, like, native way of seeing. Huh, that's interesting. So I guess I missed that his armor also... Was that Predator doing his big explosion? Okay, I'm pleased, but I need the conclusion here to help me.
Man, Boba was always a one-man army, even as a one-armed man.
Despite the Predator's fearsome power and experience, Fett's versatility and arsenal allowed him to survive this hunt.
While Boba could crumple steel, the Predator could easily tear straight through it, making him the stronger of the two.
But while the Predator could dodge laser beams, Fett could match Force users with near light speed reactions, making them similar in speed.
However, the major difference was durability.
While the Predators are definitely tough, Fett's Beskar armor covers more of his body, and would easily resist almost all of a Predator's arsenal.
Like the plasma caster, usually hot enough to blast a hole through anything. But you know what else is made of plasma? Lightsabers.
That's
Which
right.
counts up, Beskar, no problem.
Specialized tools like the Plasma Scythe, with its ability to bypass conventional matter, could manage to kill Fett with a few lucky hits. However, Fett's jetpack and long-range arsenal allowed him to fight safely from a distance.
And Fett's kit countered a lot of what Predator could do. His helmet's infrared could see past Pred's camouflage, his flamethrower messed with Pred's thermal vision, and nothing the Predator had could withstand a lightsaber strike.
Also, the Predator's EMP could not disable Fett's armor, considering Beskar has withstood bolts of electromagnetic energy before without short-circuiting.
That's not to say the Predator was totally outmatched. He had a lot of similar gear, and
Right.
a peak Predator would have had centuries of combat experience backing him up.
Yes.
Way more than Boba.
However, Fett was generally trickier. Predators fight with a code of honor and rarely, if ever, employ dirty tactics.
While Fett isn't totally without honor, he still employs dirty tactics to win fair fights, and was more likely to outfox the Pred given the chance.
Fair,
Of
yeah.
course, none of that would have mattered had the Predator taken them both out with his nuclear suicide bomb. At its epicenter, it would have been more than powerful enough to fry Fett. At its epicenter. The further away you are from the center of a blast, the less energy you're getting hit with.
Okay,
By our
yeah.
calculations, Boba only needed to get about 50 meters away before the energy he was tanking was only about as much as your average thermal
Interesting.
detonator, which
Oh.
the Beskar can survive. And given the countdown lasts 40 seconds, there was more than enough time, especially with a jetpack. Hell, Arnie escaped the same attack just by sprinting.
But perhaps the most
Oh,
important difference is the
that would've been good
scope
to know.
of their prey. Xenomorphs are definitely deadly, but they're not quite as dangerous as a master Force user who can
Yes.
read minds and throw starships around like they're made of paper. Fett was definitely prepared for anything the Predator could throw at him, even space magic. The Predator was as deadly and skilled as they come, but Fett's cunning, arsenal, and impenetrable armor gave him the win.
Congrats to Boba. Give him
Yay.
a hand. Oh wait, he's already got one.
The winner is Boba Fett.
Yay, claps for Boba Fett.
Hey,
Cool.
if you want more Death Battle ASAP, why not grab a
all right.
membership? You'll get exclusive emotes, badges, live chat, live streams, and a bunch of behind-the-scenes
Wow,
stuff.
a bunch of
Just click that
behind-the-scenes
join
stuff?
button. Thanks for watching.
Next time on Death Battle, we have... Oh, there's Raiden. Excalibur versus... Oh, it's a bonus episode. Oh, Excalibur versus Raiden. What's Excalibur from? I know Raiden is from... It's like Revengeance, right? Isn't that the name of it? Metal Gear Revengeance or something. Anyway, alright, let's talk about this death battle. So I was right, yay, me. And that was a closer one than a lot of the ones that we've had recently. Because I was definitely shaky going into that. I'm glad I was able to talk my way through it and figure it out in the end. And for what I was able to figure out, I will give myself the credit. There were a few things I definitely did not think about. I just got done with a long bit of rambling about this episode and my contributions to the prediction and whatnot. And so I wanted to try to restate some things in a more concise manner. So there were some things that I did not think about when making my prediction. I did not think about Boba Fett actually using a lightsaber, despite knowing he has several. They showed that he has several. It just didn't cross my mind that he would use them. When I was thinking of his melee attacks, I was really just thinking of like the forearm blades and the Tusken Raider staff, you know? Was not thinking about the lightsaber. I did not think about how Boba Fett's flamethrower could affect Predator's thermal vision, mostly because I forgot that that was Predator's natural form of vision. I was just thinking he had means of like thermal vision, x-ray vision, etc. But it is neat that Boba Fett has just another thing. He wouldn't need that to secure a victory. Because, you know, the majority of the time he probably wouldn't. That probably wouldn't come into play. But it's just another thing that Boba Fett could do to get the upper hand over Predator, to mess with him just that little bit more. Another thing that I didn't think about was the explosion, like the big explosion, Predator's big explosion, in large part because, again, I just missed the details about that, the specifics, you know, not knowing if he had used that bomb, not knowing if he had survived that bomb. And so, like, and I didn't know there was a timer attached to it. If they had shown Arnold running from it and, like, surviving, like, if they did show it, I missed it. But if I had pieced together, if they did show that and I pieced together what it meant, I probably wouldn't have been as concerned with that for Boba's sake. Because, you know, if Arnold can survive it, Boba Fett can certainly survive it, right? Like, by just getting away in time. So I had missed that part. And another part that I missed that was actually in Boba Fett's favor a little bit, was, you know, Boba Fett crumpling steel, whereas Predator was tearing through steel. Yes, that does mean Predator is physically stronger, but I did not really have any strength feats in mind, like physical strength feats for Boba Fett when I was going through my prediction. So, you know, at least having the capability to crumple steel, which frankly I'm not sure where that feat comes from, that does give him more than I was initially thinking. But aside from that, like the versatility, the mobility, the range options on Boba Fett's side, a lot of his stuff canceling out what would otherwise be advantageous for Predator. I feel like I did a good enough job with my prediction as far as, you know, pulling out specifics, like reasons that Boba Fett would win, that I am satisfied with my work. And I think that, you know, not only did I guess correctly, which you could, you know, it's like a 50-50 thing, but I feel like I reasoned through it well enough, especially when I entered the death battle with such doubts, you know, thinking that Predator might win just because I'm not sure what Boba Fett could do to him to finish him off if he survived that big explosion, which, based upon the conclusion I'm gathering, the Predator did not. I didn't realize that was like a last-ditch effort, like, if I'm going down, I'm taking you with me sort of thing. That's what it seems like, though. So, cool. And with the conclusion, I do want to say that I do understand what actually happened at the end of the death battle now. People don't need to clear it up in the comments. I got it. So, yeah. About the animation, I liked it. It's one of those things it's kind of sad for me because I felt like this animation was more fluid and just better done than like Gogeta versus Vegito. And I feel like that death battle is where you really needed the fluid movements. And maybe I just found this one more fluid because their movements didn't have to necessarily be as fast, that it didn't have to be as all over the place as like an epic Dragon Ball fight would be. But And I don't want to talk too much about that other fight. We're talking about this death battle, but I just wanted to draw that comparison because the last time, you know, that was my biggest complaint with that one, was it just seemed very stiff. This one, like, sure, you know, it might have had its moments, but overall, I found it to be, you know, just a lot smoother and a more enjoyable experience. While I do have some questions, like, you know, was Boba's blaster really depicted as effectively as it should have been? You know, I have that question. If the lightsaber could destroy most of his stuff, maybe kind of lead with... I mean, I don't think Boba Fett would lead with a lightsaber, but, like, he pulled out the lightsaber, and then it hardly seemed to do anything. Like, why did it stop on Predator's neck? Does he have neck armor that stops plasma? Did I miss that? Just, you know, when the lightsaber did make contact, that's when he should have gotten limbs chopped off, you know? Like, similar to if you're going to say that Predator had something that could chop off Boba Fett's arm, I'm pretty sure a lightsaber could chop off something of Predator's. Maybe it did and I missed it, but I was, like, watching for that once the lightsaber came out and it didn't happen. Like, I thought he was gonna be sliced in half Darth Maul style, you know? Or something like that. But no, it's not what took place. The story makes sense. It was like... It was a more subtle story, you know? Like, Boba Fett's just there. Do I know why he's there? No. I'll just put in he's there to pick up a bounty or something. Or he's traveling, he's on vacay. But it made sense enough that at least Predator wouldn't, like, announce his presence. And that he would be hunting a worthy prey, right? Boba Fett. Because if he's, like, the best bounty hunter in his galaxy, right? Then, yeah, that's good prey for a Predator. That would earn you some honor. And so I'm content with the story that was told in this death battle. So yeah, the analyses and conclusions, like, I thought they were good. I liked the animation. I liked in the analysis, I just especially liked the part with Dummy, like, with his role model HK. If you haven't played Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, it's a really good game. It's quite old, but, like, I still think it holds up. It's just a good game, but HK's in that, and he's a fun droid to interact with. So I think I've said really all I want to say about this death battle, and for the next time, I just really don't know the two characters. I don't even know what Excalibur's from, so we're gonna call this one. So thank you all for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know what you thought about this episode in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that, etc., so on and so forth. Then next time, yes, we are going to be watching Excalibur versus Raiden, so I hope you're looking forward to that. But yes, with that, we're calling it here, so have a good one, everybody.